Gali, spera, gali, mera gali nichta, no matter where in this wild, wonderful, and sometimes wacky world you might be. Thank you for making the Highbury Squad part of your day. Here we go with a brand new show, and I think this one's going to be fun. Gives us a little bit of a breather from the Arsenal. Let's rock and roll, folks.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Indeed, welcome to the Sophie and Kyle Total Football Show. Our timings are off this week. We'll get back to it's difficult towards the end of the season. So many games happening different days. Everything's shifting around. So those listening on replay, thanks for joining. On audio, thanks for joining and making his official debut with his own show right here at Squad Central is my podcast son from another thought. I don't know how to do it. It's Super Kyle Campbell. Welcome.
But
wait, you're not at your dad's house, are you? Are you at your dad's?
No, I'm not. No.
Okay, because you're a little choppy on the old internet, but we'll figure that part out. Okay, let's at ease, squaddies, at ease. Always lose my manners when Super Kev isn't here, but we've got Cool Kyle in the house. Well said, Ian. Tammy, evening, Soph and Kyle. Evening from Lynn as well. Amira, welcome. Super Kev needs to watch his back. There's a new Campbell in town. We like that. PW, hello. Trev's here. Carol's here. Mark's here. Junior. We have another Junior in the house. Hello, fellow inmates. Oh, okay. Ian's here. Hennock's here. Everyone's here. Daniel's here. Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for the Total Football Show, a brand new series here with myself and Super Kyle. And we're going to be bringing some questions and topics and bits and bobs that have absolutely nothing to do with the Arsenal. And I was actually going to count, Kyle, maybe later on, what we could do is every time I mention Arsenal, I have to take a shot of something, but maybe we'll do that for another episode.
Yeah. That sounds good.
All right. How's your day been?
It's been good, thank you. It's been good. It's been long, but yeah, I got through it in the end.
Did you train? Did you train today?
Yeah, I trained early this morning.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
very cool.
it's
Very
tough.
cool. Newman, you're not watching a repeat. This is actually live, and we are ready to rock and roll. Okay. So, by the way, if you would like to name this show something other than what it's named right now, Total Football Show is the name of the show. However, I was thinking about calling it the Not So Arsenal Football Show. If you have good ideas, squaddies, the highburysquad@gmail.com. And if you do come up with a gem, maybe a coin will come over on its way to you. Don't forget to go visit our friends at ZENITH. Use code HS15 and get your 15% discount for this beautiful puppy, the clock end coin, something that Newman will never, ever see. Although with a new Campbell in the house, Kyle, I have a feeling that you might be hearing from Newman for his campaign to get a coin. Are you aware of this ongoing feud with the Highbury Squad Advisory Board?
I'm actually not, no. I'm not aware of it.
Okay, well, it's in your best interest, perhaps, that we slowly, bring you into some of the Highbury Squad family feuds here. Let's get talking football with you, shall we?
Yeah.
Some Premier League action this week. And first up, what we're going to do is check out the scores. What's the score? Kyle, some results. I will have to start here, actually. The team that are destroying our hopes and our dreams, and one that you support, unfortunately. A guard of honor for Haaland last night. There was even a huddle in the middle of the pitch at some point for City. Arsenal do it. They're losers and they're bottling it. And Manchester City do it. And of course, because they're champions, they get away with it all. What did you think about the game against West Ham?
I thought it's what I expected, really, from West Ham. It's just part of the ball, slow block, just trying to get a draw. If not a draw, try and nick a win. It was never really going to happen, though. That's what I thought. I thought after the second half, they'll start getting tired. Then that's where the gap started, showing. And if you got someone like Haaland running in behind, one of them's going to fall to him and he's going to score. And I think the quality of City is too much for West Ham in the end. It really was.
Let me ask you this, Kyle, because there's been some ridiculous narratives today. Of course, you know, the instant reaction to everything. He's the greatest the Premier League has ever seen. Wilmo and a few others want to know, at this point, if you're starting a team and you're bringing in someone, knowing what you know right now, surely Thierry Henry is still the main man and Haaland has broken a record, yes, but let's see you do it in the Premier League 10 years consistently.
Yeah. Like, Henry, he is sort of man. He is. Even though Haaland broke the most goals in a single season, Premier League season, beating Shearer and Andy Cole, he's still got to prove himself more, hasn't he? Really, because he could do this. He could do so well this season, but the next season he may not do as good. He may have injuries. Who knows? Then what are people going to really disrespect Henry and say, oh yeah, Haaland's on his wavelength? Like, he's just not. Henry did it for years in the Premier League, and it's pretty fair to say he may have carried Arsenal as well.
Whoa! Time out, Campbell. Hello, carried Arsenal. I think there were a lot of players in that team that carried Arsenal. Should we have won more Premier Leagues? 100%. Should we have gone to more European semis, finals? 100%. But I think there were a few carriers on that team.
Yeah, I think obviously he was one, but when you look how good he is, I think I look at the goals he scored. He scored in some big games where you needed a goal, and he'll come out with the goal.
He scored some bangers.
Yeah, he scored some bangers, especially the one against even City. He's got a good goal against City at Highbury, and also Spurs when he got the ball, ran the whole pitch, didn't he? Yeah. It's ridiculous.
And the flick up, the United flick up volley is one of my created volley. That's one of my favorite ever.
Yeah, I couldn't see Haaland doing that.
Apparently, there's a penalty to Brighton. I can't believe that game is still going on. We just waited to come on air, and I'm just like, this game's never going to end. We're going to go on air anyway. Let me know what happened in that match. Please, Brighton, please score if you do have a penalty.
Please.
But jokes aside regarding Haaland, it's a ridiculous first season. I know you are connected to the club and close there. I mean, what he's done is quite incredible. Really. I mean, it's hard enough to score a few goals, but to score the amount he has, do you see, Kyle, do you think he's getting that, the chances that they're creating, if he's in the Liverpool team or a Man United team, what's he getting, 20 goals? Is it because he's in this Manchester City team?
Yeah, I think it's the way City play. I think we wear teams down, and then out of nowhere, we find little gaps, and then square ball across the Haaland, where United are a bit more like hit over the top to someone quick and let them run onto it. I think in Liverpool, I do think he would get opportunities to score. I think in Liverpool, he would probably... I think in United, he will probably get 15, 20. I think Liverpool, he'll probably get 20, maybe 25. And I think in City, it's still going on with City.
It's ridiculous.
You could get 45 by the end of the season. You could get 50 goals in the Prem. It's crazy. But I think it's just the way City play. We just create so many chances, and we got players who create as well.
Someone stop him, please. Stop the madness. Okay, you mentioned Liverpool. Liverpool played Fulham. Manchester United, it looks like. I don't know if the game has ended yet. But Tammy, let us know, Chief Like Officer. According to Amira, it is 1-0 to Brighton now. I think that game might still be going on, though, Kyle. Liverpool, Fulham. Liverpool making a last gasp dash for that Champions League spot. What do you think?
I think it wasn't a penalty, if I'm being honest. I think they got lucky with the penalty. Beating Fulham 1-0 at home, it's a win, but a win's the win, I guess. But is it convincing? I can't really remember the last time Fulham won.
They've been through a bit of a dip, haven't they? Fulham. They started off so well, and Marco Silva was doing such a great job. A couple injuries, but yeah, they kind of fell to the wayside a little bit. And let me ask you about the manager's behavior, Jurgen Klopp, because as a young player, you know, sometimes Kev says that things are made too much, like manager and him yelling on the sideline or players getting into it and stuff like that. When you have a manager like Jurgen Klopp, who's definitely been incredible for Liverpool, but he's pulling his hammy on the sideline and he's acting like
Yeah,
such an imbecile, really. He embarrassed himself. As a young
yeah.
player, what are you guys just taking the piss out of him in the dressing room? What's happening with that one?
I think if it was me personally, I would love to be on his side, but I'd hate to play against him because he's irritating. Like as a rival fan, I think he's just irritating. Me personally, I think he just makes up excuses for no reason. Yeah, I think
Like the wind, and it
yeah,
being too.
yeah. I just don't really understand where he comes from with half of these excuses. I think to be fair, Jota should not be in the pitch against Spurs. I think it was a red card. But then at the same time, he's still complaining about the referee where you got let off because Jota should be sent off. So I don't. Yeah, I think it's double standards from Klopp.
Yeah, I mean, some of his excuses have been pathetic. He's been an incredible. By the way, there's someone who you may recognize in the chat who's wishing you well here. Go, Kyle. Very nice.
Love that
Welcome to
tie.
Ty as well. So yeah, he's kind of made feeble excuses, but you can't help. I think the Jurgen Klopp in the first 3 years was someone that everyone wanted as their manager. You know, he was infectious, kind of bit jelly, to be honest with you, after,
Yeah.
you know, Emery. And I thought, wow, we missed out on Klopp. We missed out on Pep. We missed out on all these really good managers. And he was definitely one of them. But yeah, I mean, when people talk about it not becoming of a Liverpool manager, yeah, his behavior has been pretty bad.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Now, Kev's old club, woof, they're in trouble, Kyle. They're
They
in
are.
real trouble. Talk to me about Leicester and Everton and what's your take?
I think Everton started well. I think they scored a penalty obviously early. From there, that's when you get the second goal. You don't then drop off and then let Leicester come at you. That's where it went wrong. Leicester just they let Leicester obviously get back in it, made him go 2-1 up. And luckily, Maddison missed the penalty. Because if he didn't miss that, it would have been game over at half time. It would have, because I can't see Everton coming back. And obviously, Everton made it 2-2. But I think Calvert-Lewin should have scored, though. I think a striker
Yeah, he had a great
of
chance.
his calibre, he's got to be scoring that. He's got to be. And if he scores that, then Everton win. And Everton are looking down at clubs in the relegation zone. And that it's confidence, isn't it? Winning in football gives you confidence. Everton need a win, but I don't know where they're going to get that win from. They got Brighton away on the weekend. So
it's tough for them, really tough for them. And I think
it really is.
for the first time ever, I believe Everton too. If Everton are relegated, Arsenal Football Club will be the only team to never have been relegated from top flight football, which is amazing when you think about
crazy achievement.
Yeah, crazy achievement. You can always trust Newman to throw in a zinger. Tyrese, much better looking than his father. Of course, Newman and Super Kev, not the best of friends, as we know. So that was a bit of an obvious zinger from you there, Newman. Try harder. Kyle, what would you say to someone like me? Of course, we talk about football. We look at, games and stuff. Calvert-Lewin was linked with Arsenal for a while. I personally don't know if he's injured a lot and he's not playing a lot. When you hear people like me say he's overrated, and you know how hard it is to make it in football, to play football.
Yeah.
But I think he's a bit overrated. I just don't. If we were to sign him, I'd actually be disappointed. Is that fair or foul?
I think that's fair. I think when you look at it, his only good season was COVID season when no one was in the stadium, and when obviously Don Carlo was there, and he was. He was scoring a hatful of goals. But then now when it isn't really going Everton's way, where is he? Is he anywhere to be seen? He's not.
Yeah.
So I don't really rate him that much personally anyway. obviously he works hard, but as a striker, you can work hard, but you got to put the ball in the back of the net. When you get the opportunities to, if you get 5 opportunities a game, you've got to be scoring them. You've got to be scoring at least one.
Yeah.
And it just seems to me when he gets opportunities, he's just not clinical enough.
Yeah, very cool.
Just
Simon
yes.
Peter here, like a duck to water. Well done, Kyle. Just like your dad. P.S. Would love Ty at Everton. Maybe he could put in a word for you. We'd like him at Arsenal. All right. So Peter, Simon, let's go at it here. Right. Let's talk a little bit about Manchester United, Brighton tonight. Brighton ending up winning that goal, last gasp penalty. It's glorious. As an Arsenal fan, I'm not going to lie. I've got them for another category a little bit later in the show, as you know, Kyle. But this is glorious, is it not? Even as a City fan, you must be enjoying this result tonight. Talk to me about Manchester United and their battle to still get into the Champions League. But Brighton, who deserve so much credit this season.
Yeah. To be honest, I absolutely hate United. I hate them. Literally. I can't stand them. Everything about the club. I'll say there's only 2 players I like, which is Rashford and Wan-Bissaka. And maybe Casemiro, maybe. The rare, everything about them, I can't stand it. Because the fans, like, how can they go from saying they're going to win the quadruple to then saying, oh yeah, but we had a good season, we still won the Carabao Cup? Like, it's like, what?
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm with you.
It just doesn't make any sense. I'm glad they got beat tonight as well, because it's about time. I think they got very lucky. I think against Villa at home, they got lucky in that. I think Spurs away, I think it's 2 not great sides.
Look, I think they've had some really good results, but I also think that their league form is indicative of really, the table doesn't lie, Kyle. Let's be honest. Also, Champions League, I thought they were in a title race. And if you guys remember at Christmas time, everyone was talking about that. Your brother here is asking about Sancho. I think Sancho's been a huge disappointment, albeit he's playing a little bit better. Now he's getting some game time.
Yeah, to be fair, Sancho is one. I do like Sancho as a player as well. But I think he just needs to... I think he needs to leave, if I'm being honest. I don't think United's a club for him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it is.
When you say you like Rashford, do you like him as a player and what he's doing on the pitch this season? But do you also totally respect, of course, what he's done off the pitch? Because sometimes people see Marcus as this savior who's done all these amazing things for kids. And I think they've forgotten that he's a really good footballer. Seemed like he was a little bit broken when Ronaldo was there, didn't he? Like he didn't feel like he had a voice or he belonged. And now, ever since Ronaldo's gone, he's just flourished. As a young player, do you feel like he was intimidated a little bit by Ronaldo?
Yeah, I think when Ronaldo comes in, I think everyone just looks up to him and goes, whatever he's doing, we can't say anything about it because it's Ronaldo at the end of the day. He's won, 5-6 Ballon d'Ors. He's been the greatest player in the world. I think the players just respect him, don't they? Because if they don't respect him, maybe their place in the team could be at jeopardy, because it seemed like he had a big say on the team, Ronaldo. When he first came in, I think he had a big say in the team, Ronaldo. And then obviously when he started moving a bit, he started moving a bit brave. And then he started getting found out a bit.
Yeah. I mean, the demise of Manchester United this season in the league, the demise of Chelsea, Tottenham imploding. I have to say, I know, look, that we've not done ourselves any favours pre-Chelsea and our last 4 games. But as an Arsenal fan sitting back, it is really a lot of fun to finally be able to throw darts at some of these teams. And Man United in particular, they've just got unlikable players too. Like Bruno is so unlikable.
I hate him.
You love him if he plays for your team, but my gosh, you can't stand him, can you?
He just moans so much, though. Like,
such a moaner.
Is there a need to moan so much? I just don't get it. Like, who moans like him?
Him, Kyle. Well said.
Literally him.
A message here for you from Golazzo here. Fran is a good friend of the show and she's an amazing artist. If you guys haven't seen Fran's work, please go check out Scene Sketches SENE. Go check out her stuff. This is her handle on Instagram as well. This show is a fantastic idea, Sophie. Kyle is awesome, has a great perspective on the game today, and is unnatural on screen. Big up, Kyle. Let's see. Someone else in the house, Kyle. Love the show. I wonder who that is.
I wonder.
I wonder. All right, let's move the needle a little bit. So those are the results. Stay to the end because Kyle and I are going to give our predictions for every single Premier League game that is coming up between now and Monday. Okay, so that's what's the score. If you want to give us your opinion too, share it on the YouTube comment. And you can always email us, thehigburysquad@gmail.com. All right. Not only is Kyle a talented footballer, but he's also pretty good at spotting some talent. One of our segments that we'll be doing on the show, the Scout Spotter. Kyle plays with a lot of very talented young players, came through the Manchester City system. Same with his brother. And so he can identify a talent or two. Now, you're going to highlight two players to us this week, Kyle. First up is this young man. Tell us about Carlos.
Yeah, Carlos is a player who plays in the Manchester City under-21s in the Premier League 2. And he's direct, quick, can finish, can set up goals. Just for his age, when you look at him, it's like it. You do think, could he be better than Mbappe? Like,
wow, really? Is that how they're talking about him at Manchester City?
People aren't talking about him like that, but I genuinely think he has got the potential to be like Mbappe or better. Literally, he's so quick and his speed. But when he uses it, no one's gonna stop. No one can stop him really. He scored 20 goals this season in the Premier League 2 from the wing.
Wow.
And he trained with. He got called up to the first team as well this week for Man City. So hoping he gets a breakthrough at the end of the season because he deserves it.
So there's this I found too. I found this picture of him and I was reading this article somewhere. This was in an under-21 game, was it, I think? And he took on the celebration of Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, it sounded like he completely destroyed the opposition in that match. He's a versatile, he kind of, who he looks like? He reminds me of Diaby a little bit, our old Diaby a little bit, but of course not the same position at all.
Yeah.
But he sounds like he's very versatile. But what's the trajectory for him at City? You know how Foden was identified from a very young age, a protege, he's going to be the one. What's Carlos's trajectory, do you think?
I think people think he's going to be. People want him to stay and play in the first team. We don't want another Sancho happening where he goes off. We need a player like him to stay and grow in the first team and start these games because I think personally, I don't think City bring enough players up through the youth system still. I do still think there has been a lot of players that go who should really be getting a better chance in the team. But obviously, we've got the quality of players. You can't really do much about that. But at the same time, he has to be getting a run because he's got quality to show. And I do think when he gets his opportunity, he will take it.
Wow. The game that I referred to, the picture that I showed, they had beaten Manchester United's younger players 6-1 in that match, 6-1. So, yeah, one to look out for. Carlos Borges. Is that how you pronounce his last name, Borges?
Yeah, Portuguese, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, one to look out for right there. Carlos is the new Welbeck, Terence, naughty. Well, look, Welbeck's still playing, mate, and let me tell you, I'd be happy if I had Welbeck's career. They have money to buy ready-made players, says 33-fivers, although also I'm waiting for my fiver. I never get one every time you come into chat. Let's see. What else do we have here for you? Matty K, one of our listeners, also saying hello and welcome to you on the show tonight. Lynn wants to know, Kyle, would Carlos going on loan benefit him for City? Has he been on loans? Is this it's a good question from Lynn.
Yeah, he actually hasn't gone on loan. I think. Well, when I was reading up on it, Pep said that he doesn't want to send him out alone. He wants to put him straight into the first team. But obviously, he can change his mind. I think personally, he would do very well in the Championship.
And
I think you do well.
Yeah, your dad always says, like, Balogun, he wanted him to go out on loan. Patino wanted him to go out on loan.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like it's just the making of a young player. And we've seen it before. I mean, from Beckham to Kane to a lot of players going out on loan.
Exactly.
Really
young
helps
players
you grow.
Exposure is the key thing in football for any young player. If you're not gonna play for the club you're currently at, you've got to go to a League 2 side, League 1 side, Championship side, and you've got to play, learn your trade, play, meet new people, take criticism, and just keep improving and go out your comfort zone as well. That's the main thing, because a lot of these players like it in the big flashy clubs where it's all nice, but when they got to go to somewhere like, I don't know, let's say like
Darlington.
Crewe. Darlington or Crewe, for example. Yeah, it's like it's not as flashy, like cold showers, stuff like that. Can they handle it?
How hard was it to leave City? Like, how hard is it to do that, regardless of, you're not going to be given an opportunity, say, by that management team or at that time. How hard is it? Because I hated leaving 20th Century Fox. As much as I loved working there, I'm like, you know what? If I want to progress, I've got to go and get this other job at like Sony Pictures. How hard is it?
I think it's hard. I think it's hard because I think especially now it'll be hard because look at City winning everything now, the Premier Leagues. Hopefully they get a Champions League under the belt, but then when you look at it as well, it's like, do they want to leave and go to a club who isn't being successful? And then, because I think being in a successful club, it probably gives you confidence even if you're not playing, because you're like, I'm good enough to be in this club. So like, why am I going to leave? And obviously the wage bill, obviously City got deep pockets, and obviously
cheating deep pockets, Kyle. That's another show. Cheating deep pockets, I tell ya.
No
Crikey.
way. No
Come
way.
on.
No way.
All right. Tell me a little bit about now Rasmus Haaland. Is that how you pronounce his last name? Because he is doing bits at Atalanta, and some of our fans have seen him play. But by the way, congratulations to Napoli winning Serie A tonight. Unbelievable scenes there. Talk to me about this Danish fella who has been labelled, of course, as the new Haaland, even though he's Danish, not Norwegian.
I think I've seen him play, and I was like, he's young. I'm pretty sure he's my age, and he's like steps ahead of players who strikers my age, really. He steps ahead. Obviously he's gone to Serie A and he's playing, and he's playing against good players, but he's quick, he can hold it up, he can create, he can finish, and he can get stuck in. And
can you see him coming to the Premier League?
Yeah, I do think he will.
As Haaland's replacement at City.
I think he'll get a move. I personally think Arsenal should go for him. I do, but he might go United, because I do think I think he supports United. So
does he? That's a shame. That's a shame. I mean, we need a prolific goal scorer. I love what Jesus does. I mean, he's been unbelievable, what he's been able to give us this season. I know you seeing him at City, you knew that he wasn't a prolific goal scorer when he came to us. But we could use a big fella like him. My goodness, he's, I can't remember. Carlo Garganese, who's a good friend of the show, wrote an article about him. The Italian Football Podcast too. You guys should go listen to that. He is a very talented young guy. When you mentioned him to me, I went off to watch a little bit more of him highlight wise, Kyle. And there's no doubt he's very impressive.
Yeah, he's athletic as well. These Scandinavian players, they're just so athletic. They're quick, running behind. They've got energy. They're strong. It's crazy, but at the same time, they're just good players.
Very cool. Very nice. I like this. I love this new segment, scouting and Kyle sharing players from around Europe with us, but also in the under 23s, under 21s, in the lower leagues as well. So our scout spotter has given you 2 today. We got Carlos Borges from Manchester City, and we also have Rasmus Holland from Atalanta, Danish young superstar in the making, apparently, who is going to light the football world on fire and is doing very well in Italian football right now. Good stuff there. Okay, hot topic. We got a hot topic for tonight, and I've got one for you, which is kind of, football related and not.
Okay.
Don't know if you know, apparently there's a coronation happening in England this weekend, which ruined the Chelsea fixture for us, which has ruined the football fixtures for a lot of fans. No one cares about fans anymore. They change kickoff times. They don't care if our hotels are booked. They don't care if our flights are booked. But we're going to give some grace here because the Queen, Kyle, was apparently a gooner. Okay. Now, I don't know if King Charles is a gooner, but we know for sure our beloved Queen was red and white. All right. Do you care less about the coronation? Are you into any of that stuff? What's your take on it all? And even as a football fan, doesn't it annoy you how they just change game times on us without care or cause?
I think the only good thing about it is that it's a bank holiday. That's literally the only good thing about it, because I could not care less about it. I think it's just, it gets shoved in your faces for about a month in preparation, and then everyone's like, oh, okay. Everyone knows it's happening. No one's going to tune into it. It's broadcasted everywhere. It's live on YouTube, ITV News, and like, what even is it about? Like, what is it for?
Listen, I tell you something. When you say it's on YouTube, and why would anyone? One of the I love young folks, but when a young millennial, when I tried to usher her out to see an eclipse of the sun that happens every 555 million years, her response was, "No, Soph, don't worry, I'll catch it on YouTube later." I'm like, we're here, we're in the outdoors. The eclipse is right there in front of you. Kyle, you wouldn't watch the eclipse on YouTube, would you? I can understand coronation clips, but not an eclipse of the sun.
I've actually seen one, I think.
Have
I? When I was at school,
it was probably your dad playing against someone. That was the eclipse.
When I was at high school, I think the teachers were like, "Oh, there's an eclipse. Like, there's an eclipse outside," and everyone went outside. It went dark. It went dark for about 5 minutes.
Five minutes, yeah.
Yeah, but I think it was an eclipse anyway. We got told that. I wasn't really listening.
Well, listen, apparently the listeners are more into Coronation Street than the coronation of King Charles III. No doubt about that. Right. That is my hot topic 2 cent for you. What do you want to get off your chest right here? We got Campbell's Corner, and this is a segment where you could just get something off your chest, whether it's football related, whether it's pop culture, music, film, whatever it is. I went and saw John Wick 4, by the way, which was the worst film I've ever seen in my life. It's 3 hours, Kyle. It's 3 hours. Yeah, and after 2 hours, I'm like, no, how many more people can die? And how much more can this guy take? Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. It's just, I had to walk out. The film was over. It was,
Yeah, I mean, like, twins, I've got 2. I've got one. To be fair, yours is on the same wavelength as mine. One, like, film movies being so long. Like Avatar, it was Avatar 2. It's like, was it
4 hours?
4 hours long?
Yeah.
Like, who's gonna sit in the cinema? I know I've got a mate who did do that, and he said he fell asleep halfway through it. It's like, It's like, what is the point? Like, surely you stop the film. Surely you stop the film halfway through for a break, don't you? Like, you've got to.
I mean, if you're at home, it's a 4-hour film. I'm probably getting through that in a week. Who has time to sit down and watch a 4-hour film in one sitting? I agree with you. I'm with you.
I just don't think it's the right way to go about it now, to be making 3-hour, 4-hour films. It's going to be a 5-hour film soon, and people are just going to be like, what is the point? People want a 90-minute to 2-hour film. Like,
yeah,
that's ideal time.
I'm with you.
Time.
I love this.
4 hours, it's a joke.
I love this one from Ian, Kyle. His pet peeve here is gender reveals. What is that about? Gender reveals. Wow. And someone started a mass fire in California. By the way, they're going to prison because they set off a fire unprecedented because they wanted everyone to know they were having a boy, Kyle.
Why would you do that? What's the point in that?
Oh, I don't know, but those gender reveals have got to go. That's a good one. Okay. Let's get to the let's see, shredding social. Let's see what's happening here. Okay, so social media is, has so many beautiful things about it, and it also has so many crazy things about it. But one thing I wanted to bring up to you, because as a young player, you're going to go through this a lot. Your brother's gone through it as well. It's already started, and Mr. Fabrizio Romano, who told us, by the way, Kyle, just a few months ago that Mudryk was coming to the Arsenal, and he got it so wrong. Of course, we all know what happened there. But he's talking about Reece Nelson's contract already. And then you've got our good friend of the show, Kaya from Football London, who's talking about Declan Rice and Diaby and Guehi and all these players. The transfer market, does it drive players nuts as much as it does fans? Do you love it? Do you hate it? What's your take on it? Because if they're starting now and the window closes September 1, I don't know if I could take it.
I just think transfer windows, you just don't know who to believe. Even though Fabrizio's so reliable, I still don't believe him. Until I see the player holding the shirt, that's when I believe it. Like, I've seen so many rumours about like Neymar going to City, stuff like that. It's just not going to happen. Like Osimhen to Arsenal, like it could happen, but why is he going to go? He's just won the league with Napoli.
Yeah, I mean, he's just won the league with Napoli. They're going into the Champions League as champions. We don't know money because the only reason that will happen is wages, because the Premier League can play a lot more wages. But I'm sure the Napoli president will reward that team. It's 33 years since they won that league. Diego Maradona. I mean, and if you haven't seen the Maradona documentaries, by the way, do you love watching? I'm curious, because obviously your dad grew up in an era where Maradona was playing, but have you watched all? I'm assuming you have the videos and you've seen him play.
I've seen videos of Maradona. He was unbelievable. Like he rarely lost the ball. He just run through a whole team, wouldn't he? Yeah. And he was a different footballer when he was off the pitch as well. He had his he did stuff wrong off the pitch, but that was him. He was controversial, wasn't he?
Very. He was a very naughty boy, Kyle. He
was naughty. I almost seen a video of him fighting. He was fighting a coach and players. He knocked out the coach with like a flying knee, and I heard that he broke his leg, Maradona, whilst he was doing that. And it's like
craziness, isn't it?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Are you a Messi or Ronaldo guy?
Messi.
Yeah. Interesting. I like that he got in trouble for, not even Messi's bigger than the club. I mean, PSG, they deserve what's coming to them as well, by the way.
Yeah.
But I like that they told him off and all that jazz. He's not bigger than the club either. He and Ronaldo kind of ending a little, not fairy tale like, Kyle.
I know. I think Messi has had enough for PSG. That's why he's done it. Like they're out of Europe. They're probably going to win the league by about 9 points in the end. He's got really nothing to play for. Messi. So he's thinking to himself, "Oh, I might as well just go here," because he knows he's going to end the season. He knows what he's doing. He doesn't care.
Totally.
He doesn't care, and it's like, but I don't really. I think PSG fans are a bit reckless. Like, why are you going to Neymar's house and telling him to get out of the club? Neymar's done a lot for PSG. He scored him goals. He's got him into the rounds of Champions League football. He's got him into quarters, semis. I think fans forget sometimes what a player's actually done, and then when they're not doing so well, they will hate you and they just turn their back on you.
Yeah, I think it's a great point, but I think with Neymar, he's off the field. It's not even off the field, because off the field, I mean, he just has fun. He's a young guy. He can enjoy his money and do whatever he wants. It's on the field, his acting and his roly-polies and all that stuff that's made people kind of fall out in love with a Brazilian player I think they all wanted to be in love with. And I don't think he's done himself any favors with his behavior.
No, I don't think he has, but that's Neymar. Like, if you was to say, like, what's Neymar known for? People are gonna say his skills and his diving. Like, that's what I know Neymar for. But it's great. I think with Neymar it's crazy because, like, when you watched him at the World Cup just gone, he was still doing well for Brazil. Even though he picked up the injury, he still scored against, was it Croatia? He still equalised against them, I'm pretty sure. And then he did all he could, really. But at the same time, though, he's aging, and he's just not a very physical player, is he? When he comes up against a physical side, he does struggle. And when teams just try and kick like everything out of him,
I think he'd get eaten alive in the Premier League. I really do. But
I'm not too sure. I think it depends what team he's in.
Man City.
If it was at Man City, I think Man City would suit him.
Yeah. I can't, there's rumors about him maybe coming, this summer to the Premier League. I don't know. I can see Messi going to coming to MLS, playing for Beckham at Inter Miami, maybe back to Barcelona financially. I don't know how they're going to make that work. Barcelona are an absolute mess. So, I mean, I know Messi won the World Cup, right? I know it. I mean, he shouldn't have been playing in the semi-final. Then he should have got sent off. I think it was in the quarterfinal. Anyway, I'm not going to be bitter about it, right? Argentina winning the World Cup. However, do you think he's got another year in him to play Champions League? Do you think he can still offer something? I know it's a weird question to ask, and some people might think, you imbecile, Soph, why are you even asking that? But I don't know. The desire after winning the World Cup, Kyle, that was it, right? That was the one that he was waiting for. Maybe the desire's not there anymore.
I think it's the way PSG play, though. Like, I watched them against Bayern Munich at Bayern Munich. Literally, they just chilled on the halfway line. Messi, Neymar, Mbappe. Well, what front three started? Messi and Mbappe started for sure. But they were just all up top. He wasn't getting in the little pockets, turning with it and going. It's the way PSG play. They don't play. I don't think they play to suit Messi like Barcelona did. I think they play to suit Messi, Neymar, Mbappe. And Mbappe's a big one in that, because I think if Mbappe weren't there, I think Messi. I think they'll play for Messi, but because Mbappe's there, and obviously he's French, he's a golden boy, isn't he?
Yeah, it's his team, and it should be.
Yeah.
It should be Mbappe's team. Yeah, I agree with you there.
It's not Messi's team, sadly. So,
all right, let's get some questions for Kyle here. I've got a few lined up, and then we're going to do our predictions. I'm going to skip Football Enemy this week, Kyle. You know why? Because you kind of did it at the beginning. I had this lot in there for all their belly aching about we're title challengers, we're going to win this, we're going to win that. They win the Carling Cup, and trust me, Kev and I always talk about winning is everything in football, trophies. There's been this narrative about, who's had the better season if United win the Carling Cup and Arsenal finish second. It's clear we've had the better season in the Premier League, and they've had a more successful cup run winning the Carling Cup. Agree or disagree with that one?
No,
come on. Now you're just... You trying to roll me up, Campbell?
I'm not. I think the main aim in elite football or in elite sports is to win stuff, and they've won a Carabao Cup, and you haven't won anything this season. So realistically, who has had the better season? If they get Champions League, they've got Champions League and also a cup under the belt, where you've just got Champions League. So,
all right, let's see. Okay, you know, it's so funny, isn't it? Because my thing here is, and I'll always call it the Carling Cup, Newman. In fact, you're lucky I don't call it the Littlewoods Cup or the Milk Cup. Carabao, just, you know, every time I hear Carabao, I don't know, I feel like Carmen Miranda's going to come out and sing a song or something. But Kyle, everyone poo-poos the Carabao Cup. I actually really respect your manager because he plays every competition to win. He picks a team to win, right? So for the last however many seasons we've heard the Carabao Cup is poor man's trophy, blah, blah, blah. The mighty Manchester United claiming that their season's better than ours because they won the Carabao Cup. I'm all about winning, but I don't know if you can claim that for this season.
I think you can, personally. I think you can. Even though I hate United, I do hate them, but it's silverware in the day, isn't it?
Wow, like, I would have maybe thought that you'd have thought that FA Cup different. Okay, if they win the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup,
that's fair enough.
I think that's fair enough.
But if Arsenal were to finish fourth, and get a Carabao Cup, would you take that rather than finishing second and winning nothing else and getting knocked out early out of all the cups?
Yes, you've convinced me. Your first win on your first show here, you've done it. You convinced me. I'm turned. Kyle's done it. Crikey. Yes. When you say it like that, because second and fourth this season feel like really this wide, you know?
Yeah.
It feels like there's a massive gap between us. I mean, we're almost 40 points ahead of Chelsea. We were 20 points ahead of Liverpool.
Crazy.
You know, I mean, look at the gap between us. I don't think there's any denying in the league we're the better team. You know?
You are the better team.
Yeah. Barry says, look how inconsistent United are. Ten Hag is so furious. They're repeatedly making mistakes. That's true. Amira says Southampton could have won the Carabao Cup if they'd the same run. United had cup gone wild, says Mark. Winning a cup is good, says Tammy. Yeah, the Carrier Bag Cup. Oh, the disrespect. The Texaco Cup, the Mickey Mouse Cup. Oh, the Arsenal fans aren't bitter, Kyle. Do you taste it? Do you feel it? Yeah. Oh, all right. Let's get stuck into some predictions, shall we? Massive games coming up. Of course, you know, in the Premier League. And also the Championship, which we'll take a look at in our next episode, by the way, you guys. Let's get the fixtures up. Here we go. Super Kyle. Where are we? Premier League predictions. Bournemouth. Oh, Bournemouth versus Chelsea is our first game.
I think Lampard is going to get 007. I think it's going to happen. I think 007 is going to happen. I do. It's going to happen. It's written in the stars to happen, isn't it? 007. I think they're going to get beat. I think it's going to be. I can't even see them scoring. I think it's going to be 2-0 Bournemouth.
2-0 Bournemouth. Okay, yeah. And I lied. I'm doing questions first, and then we'll do. Do you want to do questions first or questions at the end? You want to do our predictions? You choose.
We do questions first. Yeah.
Okay, questions first. Let's do questions first. Okay. Oh, crikey. Sophie, bonjour, mademoiselle. Comment allez-vous? Oh, bonjour. Wenger got me speaking French. Oh, well done. There you go. Thank you. Thank you for that. Ian, ask Kyle who he rates at Arsenal, please.
I like Martinelli. I like.
Just so happen to have a picture of him right here. Look at that.
Odegaard.
Oh.
50-50 with Odegaard.
50-50? What are you talking about, 50-50?
Because people try to compare it to De Bruyne. and it's like no.
Why do they do that though? That's not even fair.
Exactly, it's not fair.
He's a quality player though, regardless. If you take out the scenario where they compare him to your, guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a great player. Is he not, Odegaard?
He is. Yeah, Odegaard's a great player. Martinelli.
What about Saka?
I do like Saka. I do like him. I think he has dropped off in form massively, but he's a good player. Saka is a good player.
What do you say, Kyle, about fatigue? I would love to know this from you and Tyrese as well, because Kevs does not accept it. No, you can't be tired. I don't know. You must have been when you were training younger. He's like, no, you go run again, son. You go run again. He doesn't buy into. Of course, players get tired, but he's like, you keep playing Saka. Last season, he was like, no, he's our best player. You play your best players. What's your take having and being a player with this getting to the end of the season and fatigue and stuff like that at that level?
I think if you have squad depth, then like you can rest players. But I think if you haven't got squad depth, you have to play your best 11. If you want to win the league anyway, you have to play your best 11. But if you're playing for nothing, obviously you can rest players. Like if you look at City last night, like they put Ortega in for Ederson because apparently Ederson's getting a rest.
Do you actually think he was taking the piss out of all of us last night?
He was. He just was.
It just actually quite annoyed me a little bit, Kyle, to be honest.
It's crazy. You put Ortega in for Ederson and Ortega kept a clean sheet. He had no shots at him. Like that is when you like it's crazy. Like how do you even know? Like it's like he knows that Ortega isn't really going to get tested against West Ham at home. It's crazy. But yeah, I think as a football player, you have to be willing, you have to be ready to play 90 minutes every single game. You have to have the match fitness.
Yeah, I like that. Kev says, can't be tied now yet, not in Jan. Oh, okay. You can be tied now, but not in January. Fair enough, Mr. Campbell. Fair enough. All right. Next question. Let's see. From Lynn. Talk about how the media and pundits slate Arsenal and our young players and manager gets above any other club. Even Chelsea doesn't get what we get. What do you think about this narrative? Do you think most clubs feel the same? Because I was talking to a couple of my Spurs mates. I don't know why I talk to them, to be honest with you, Kyle. I just don't. But I was talking to them and they were complaining about how the media treats them. Looking from the outside in, do you think that people just couldn't wait for Arsenal to fail, like calling us, but all of that stuff? What's your take on what Lynn's saying here?
Yeah, I think people were waiting for Arsenal to fail. I think people knew they were going to bottle it, but people were even focusing on their own teams.
Don't
people
use the
just
word
focusing
bottle.
on Arsenal. Go on here. Yes.
Do you really think that we hold it, or do you think that the superior team has risen?
I think the superior team has risen, but when you look at what some Arsenal fans, what they're saying, oh yeah, City can still drop points, which we can. We can still drop points, but at the same time, you may still drop points. You got big games. Coming up. And it's like, you got to focus on your own team rather than focusing on us because we beat you twice. So you got to focus on winning your games
which I think we were doing up until Liverpool. Yeah. Right. I think we broke that day. That's the day we broke. We broke at Anfield. We've not been the same since. And I'm not being funny. You can't count Chelsea last night. Stop. Don't at me, everyone. I'm not. You can laugh on Kivior all you like. Please stop. Put Kivior up against Newcastle or, Spurs or whoever, Man United. Do not give me Kivior 5-star ratings against Chelsea. They were pathetic.
Yeah, Chelsea were pathetic. Yeah, like
really bad.
I was talking to a mate about it today, and about Chelsea, and he was like, we were both like, they're literally I think there are only 2 good players in that team, or 3 against Arsenal were Noni Madueke and I think Kante. Kante's just Kante. He's a good player.
I thought Chilwell tried. The dude tried, I thought.
Yeah.
But he loves to pass it sideways. People talk about Xhaka just wanting to pass sideways and backwards, which hasn't happened a lot this season.
Yeah.
Does Chilwell ever pass the ball forward? Question.
No, I think Chilwell. I'm looking at some of his crosses, and they're not even hitting the targets. They're just going out for goal kicks. It's like that. No wonder Chelsea are struggling.
Yeah,
you
they're
cross the
terrible.
ball out of play. I think Kante, Noni Madueke, and Enzo Fernandez were the only 3 good players against Arsenal.
Yeah,
I think the rest of them, yeah,
it was good.
Good.
Not going to bait my name, Carl. I love this guy. Let's see what else we got here. Right, let's get another question to Kyle. I can't believe it's 55 minutes in already. Wow, it grew up real fast. Arsenio wants to know if you've seen the film Juice. Oh my gosh, Arsenio, I worked on that film. I did PR for it years ago. Great movie, by the way, and it is a cult classic. You got to watch this film. Really good movie. Terrence watched it as well. Who's the GOAT for you? Maradona, Messi, Pele? Who've you got? Afsar needs to know.
Well, the thing is, like, Maradona and Pele aren't really my hero. I didn't really see him play. If you look at what Pele did, though, he won the World Cup. What was it? Is it 16? He won his first World Cup. So,
I mean, yeah, it was just barely 17. Yeah, craziness.
That's ridiculous. He scored the winner. He didn't score the winner, but he scored a goal in the final. But back then was football. Football's aggressive back then, wasn't it? But I think when you look at what Messi's doing.
He's been ridiculous.
Messi's won it all, hasn't he? He's got a World Cup now.
That's what I'm saying. I think the dude's ready to just and rightly so. He should just put his feet up completely.
Yeah, I agree.
Leonid is reminding us that Xhaka passed it sideways for both of Odegaard's goals the other night.
That's true.
Well done. Newman wants to know what your favorite film of all time is.
Oh, I've actually got 3 for this.
Mm-hmm.
So one is The Goonies.
Oh, I love that movie. That's such a Generation X film. I love that.
Number 2, I'll say The Hangover.
Fun.
And I'll say number 3 is...
You don't have to pick a third. You were the one that you said that you had 3.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, what is it? It's I do like Grown Ups as well.
Oh, yeah, that's a fun movie. Yeah, all right, cool. We like those 3. We'll do those. We'll share. Kyle will share a little bit more about himself as this series evolves and progresses. For now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you some quick fire predictions for the Premier League. That's right. We're getting our crystal footballs out, and myself and Kyle are ready to give you all of the hot results. Now, Super Kev's really good at this, by the way. Very good. So I'm not saying, just saying, no pressure. But, we're going to see if Kyle has the prediction prowess. All right, let's go. First one, you said Bournemouth, Chelsea, 3-1?
I said 2-0 Bournemouth.
2-0 Bournemouth. Okay.
Yeah.
Your team, Manchester City versus Leeds. Any new manager bounce here for us? We'd like to see it.
It's not.
Come on, Sam Allardyce. Get in.
No, it's going to part of the boss. It's going to be exactly the same as West Ham home. I think De Bruyne trained today, so he could start. But I don't think he will. I think they'll rest him for Real Madrid. So I think it will be 4-0. 4-0 City.
4-0 City. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm actually going for everyone putting their favorite films up as well. I'm telling you, if there's ever a football god somewhere out there, Kyle, he will act this weekend. And the new manager bounce will take a totally different, legendary step. Okay. I am going to predict that Leeds United get a draw at Manchester City. It's going to be 2-2.
2-2. Okay. What?
Yes.
So Leeds going to score 2 at the Etihad.
Yeah, Leeds are going to score 2 at the Etihad. I'm sending that out there because they're desperate, and Sam Allardyce somehow is going to turn them into Game of Thrones characters, and they're just going to go, they're going to go somehow. They're going to get you down to like 10 men, and they're going to get a point. Woof! How about that?
Whilst they're down to 9.
Wolves, Aston Villa. Are Wolves in trouble still?
To be fair, it doesn't look good conceding 6 away.
That was terrible, wasn't it?
At Brighton, does it? I think it's actually a bit of a derby, isn't it? That Wolves Villa. It's a slight derby, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go for draw.
A draw?
Yep.
Okay.
A draw.
I'm going to go for Aston Villa to win this 3-1. I think a bit of a disappointing result for them. I think they bounce back. So yeah, I'm going to go for a Villa win, and I think they'll win like 4-1. Yeah, I fancy them. All right, Tottenham versus Crystal Palace, a London derby here. Roy Hodgson, how about some love for Roy? What a job he's done, right?
Yeah, he's done so well. He's got the players playing for him, and I don't know why Vieira. I don't know why it didn't happen with Vieira. They just stopped playing for him, and then Roy Hodgson comes in. All of a sudden, they're all playing for him, which is fair enough. He was there before, wasn't he? So they've got respect for him. But yeah, I think this game's a bit too much for him.
Do players stop playing for managers, Kyle?
Yeah, they do. They do. I think players start getting frustrated. I think when managers start changing the system every game, stuff like that, players are a bit like it's deflating because you don't know if you're going to be starting. Like it's just inconvenient.
Deliberate, huh? Deliberate. Yeah. Well, listen, sometimes we don't show up for work. I'm not going to put his shift in today. Oof. No, you know what? He pissed me off yesterday. Nah. I think I'll just put my feet up a little bit. Just go off 5th gear. Liverpool Brentford. Oh, this could be a bit of a score fest. This one, Liverpool Brentford. What you got?
I think it will be. Brentford don't really concede a lot. That's the only thing. But I don't know. They've been in great form lately.
Are Brentford still in it? They don't really have anything to fight for. So these mid-tier, do players, another one for you, do players actually put their towels out on the beach 5 games before the end of the season, Kyle, if there's nothing to play for? Are you planning Ibiza or Napa?
Yes. I think players put the towels out immediately because they've got nothing to play for, literally. But like, at the same time, though, they're still getting paid. What is really the point of you're playing for nothing, really? I think Brentford.
Aren't you still playing for everything, though? Aren't you still playing, like, you know?
You are, but at the same time, though, all the players are. I think mentally, it's a long season, isn't it? So when you're not playing for anything, I think it will affect you, and I think you will be a bit like kind of be bothered playing.
Yeah,
like
fair enough.
Today, I think it'll be 2-0 Liverpool.
2-0 Liverpool. What was your score for Tottenham Crystal Palace, by the way?
I'm gonna go.
I think Tottenham are going to bounce back in that game.
3-1 Spurs.
I'm going to go 3-2.
Kane 2, Son 1.
All right. Okay, here's the big one. I'm doing this in order. I'm not leaving it till last. The next game is Newcastle United versus the mighty Gunners. Now, Gabriel, not sure if he's going to make it. No excuses, in my opinion. Be prepared for every game, no matter when it is in the season. We've got to go up there and get points. What do you think, Kyle?
I think this is when the league ends. I think.
Jesus, who invited you? Who invited you? Hey?
This is when the league ends, because I'm going to be realistic here. We're going to beat Leeds at home. Then I think you're going to get beat by Newcastle at St. James's Park. I can see it happening. If Gabriel's missing, who have you got to stop Isaac and Wilson?
Oh, Isaac. Yeah, forgot about him. Playing quite well, isn't
Exactly.
he?
Joe Linton,
Well,
Bruno Guimaraes.
Warren Barton tried to do that to Super Kevin Campbell on the show on Tuesday, and let me tell you, it did not work. The psyching out mind games if Gabriel isn't. Listen, if Gabriel isn't, you've got to play Benjamin White as centre back, Kivior, and then push Zinchenko maybe to right back and play Tierney at left back. Oh my gosh, that sounds like an absolute horror show when I say it out loud.
It's a car crash. Car crash waiting to happen.
Well, listen, I'm gonna keep with my team, and I say we win 3-1. All right.
3-1.
And by the way, shall we give him a yellow? Should Kyle be booked? Should he? Let me know if you think he deserves a booking for literally calling Arsenal a car crash at the back. His first booking it would be, and I wouldn't mind handing that card out right now. West Ham versus Manchester United. Oh, West Ham are woeful against Manchester United. I can't. This is a loss all over it. 4-0, I think.
Sadly, it's a loss. Probably 2-0. 2-0 United.
So apparently Newman says no, Kyle should get a coin. Kian says I should book you. Armchair says no. Patrick says for sure. Stephen thinks you should get a red card. Matty K thinks you're a top geezer, so no.
Yes,
PW says yes. And yeah, so I think you're escaping now with a warning. Just a warning. Just a warning.
Yes.
Okay, what's your result for West Ham Man United?
Oh, I'm going to go for... United did look shaky tonight against Brighton, but West Ham haven't got that attack, have they? Like they've got Antonio playing as a striker. That kind of says it all. So, I think I'm going to go for 3-0 United.
3-0 to United. Okay.
3-0 United.
Fulham, Leicester. Leicester desperate for a win. Fulham just in no man's land right now. I fancy Leicester to get a result against them. I fancy Leicester. I'm going to say 2-1 to Leicester this weekend, Kyle. What about you?
I'm going to go 1-0 Leicester, Jamie Vardy penalty.
Oh, nice. Well, it's not James Maddison who's going to take it, is it?
No chance getting away from that.
Okay, here's one. Brighton versus Everton. Oof, I fear for Everton in this game. I fear for them. Sorry, Super Kev. I do. I fancy Brighton to win this like 6-1.
I want Everton to say
Bosh.
I want Everton to say
do you have a soft spot for any of your dad's teams? Any of them?
I think I've got a soft spot for Arsenal and Everton.
Doesn't feel like it, to be frank.
Because Arsenal doing so well, I don't like them. When they weren't doing as good, I did like them.
Okay.
That makes sense. But I think Everton, I don't want them to go down. I'll be realistic, but I think Brighton will win. I think Everton defensively is just so open. Like,
yeah,
you can't concede 2 against. Like they almost conceded 3 against Leicester. Almost conceded 3, and Leicester have been struggling for goals. So I'm gonna go 3-1 Brighton.
Okay, 3-1 Brighton. Yeah, Tammy, 6-1. I know, kind of crazy. I think I just did it just because to make sure Super Kev's up. I think he's covering our game at the weekend, not Everton's game. So, all right, here we go. The last one for match day 35, I believe it is. Nottingham Forest, another one of Kev's teams, another team that seems to be destined to be relegated. Forest are better at home. They're playing Southampton. This is the definition of a 6-pointer. Southampton, if they lose this, I mean, they're super toast anyway, aren't they?
Yeah. I think Brennan Johnson might be injured for the game. If he's out, it's a big loss because he's their goal scorer, and But when you look at it, Southampton did well at Arsenal away, didn't they? When you look at it in a way, because they create chances, but
only
at the
us,
same time,
Kyle. That could
only you, though,
happen to us.
I do. I want Southampton to get a win because I want it to be interesting towards the final days of the Premier League. But I can't see him. I can't see him winning. I think it'll be. I'm going to go 2-1 Forest.
2-1 to Forest.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1
Okay.
Forest.
Right. Those are our scores and predictions for this weekend. We will check those next weekend, and we're going to start getting a little Highbury Squad League table going. Not fantasy, all right? I can't be done with this fantasy stuff. I don't have time for it. If you guys want to join in, you leave your predictions on our YouTube channel. You can also email them, thehighburysquad@gmail.com if you want, and we'll start tallying up. And you know what? Next season especially, we will have a Highbury Squad Premier League champion with a trophy, mind you. That's right. An Arsenal show giving a trophy away, hopefully, to someone who supports the Arsenal. Let us know how you think Kyle did on his pilot episode here, debut of the Sophie and Kyle Total Football Show. If you want to rename it too, let us know that. Kyle, how do you think you did on your debut? Because I think you smashed it.
I think it did well. I'm happy with myself for that performance, and yeah, just many more to come.
Definitely. I think you got the POTM, Player of the Match. No doubt about that.
Thank you.
Let's see, Barry. Sophie caught the after show with Rachel and Demian, Arsenal women last year. It was a tough one. Could hardly keep up with play. No, I thought the ref did pretty well in that game. Soph gets a 9. Kyle gets a 10. Matty K handing out 10s. Tammy handing out 10s. A 7 from Ian. For me or for Kyle? Gosh, you know what? It's your City comments. That's what you need to be careful of. Kyle, you did 100%. Of course, he's used to winning trophies, being a Manchester City fan as well. How's the hamstring, son?
Yeah. Oh, it's better. Yeah, it's better.
Is it?
It's better. Yeah, it is. It is, to be fair. It is not feeling as much pain. So getting there.
Excellent. And 10, one more than your dad is what Lynn's giving you as well. We absolutely love that. I've loved it. I've loved every minute of it. What a brilliant show. And we've gone 1 hour and 10 minutes. It's our first one. So we've gone wild. And of course it's late. So we just we've got everyone in the house here. We carry on talking.
Yeah.
We will be back next Thursday with more great topics, more predictions, more results, and some giveaways as well. Kyle, everyone gets an exit statement, something to leave the squaddies with.
Yeah.
What say you for your closing today?
I'm going to say to keep working hard and to always follow your team. Literally.
I love that. No matter what, right?
Yeah, no matter what, you always got to follow your team, and you always got to work hard.
I love that. Totally. Your brother's really proud of you as well, as is your dad. Great first show from our chief like officer. Hit that like button, please. Everyone wants you on Monday Madness now. Let's take it one show at a time, people. Maybe we'll get Tyrese on too. Give Tyrese his own show as well. Kyle, you are so much like your dad. There is no mistaking who you belong to. Brilliant stuff. Thank you so much for showing up for our first show, everyone. Give Kyle some love. Go follow him on Instagram at Kyle Trey Campbell. Of course, give our friends at Zenith a like as well. And don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe here to the Highbury Squad. I will be back live tomorrow night with Tom Canton from the Gooner Talk TV. Got a special show and conversation lined up for you with Tom. Ayushman, thanks for sharing your picture of your coin. Keep them coming in, people. You're doing brilliantly. Thanks for all your support. It means the world. And Kyle, take care of that hammy. And don't forget. What is it? What is it we say, Kyle? At ease.
At ease. At ease. Forgot that.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.